Welcome to the party, or welcome back to the party. I'm Greta Poole and this is my YouTube channel. Today I am bringing you part 3 of book talk, specifically Christian book talk, and we have a special guest with us today, Luna. Her name's Luna. She says hi. She's too busy literally eating my bed. First book we have is called 18 Years by Madison. This is a beautiful collection of poems spanning from 2012 to 2015. Each poem is wonderfully written and well thought out, and even some of the Christian ones convicted me a little bit, to be honest. Some of these are just so relatable and emotional. Read some of my favorites. I have them bookmarked. So this one is called Jesus Christ. It says, "There is someone who loves me despite my flaws, despite all the terrible mistakes I have made. He hears all the ugly thoughts that inhabit my brain. He sees me in my darkest times, when I'm weak, doubtful, when I'm ready to turn my back. And this man, he sees how imperfect I am. This perfect man sees all my wrongs, and this is what he tells me. To me, you are beautiful. To me, you are worth it. I know you're not perfect. I know you make mistakes. But I will never turn my back on you. I will love you eternally, and I hope you can love me too. A perfect man not only tells me he loves me, he shows me how much every single day. And this man, he loves you too." So I just really like that one because it's just Jesus. It shows his love for us and how he's the only perfect person to ever love us. Another one I really liked is called Prayer. And it says, "Lord, I pray to you with a heavy heart and brittle bones. Please let confidence unfold like flowers that sprout between my ribs. Please take the butterflies out of my stomach because they crowd it and make me sick. Please fill my mind with the knowledge that your love is stronger than all of the hate that fills the earth. Please inscribe on my flesh that you have a perfect plan for me, and with you I can conquer all of my doubts, all of my worries. Please never let me forget what you have done for me. Please hold my hand while on this wearisome journey and allow me to find you, and allow me to find life in you." As you can see, these are very, very real. You can just feel the raw emotion. Many of these are about relationships, drama, and spiritual health. This is an excellent piece of literature and I highly recommend it. Next up, we have On Guard by William Lane Craig. I really, really like this book a lot. It's basically a training manual for Christians who are eager to defend their faith. Craig gives detailed instructions on how to answer questions from atheists. This also gives Christians a helpful insight on how to debate with non-believers. The purpose of this book is to equip Christians with tools to be able to tactically explain apologetics. I'm going to give some examples from in the book that I have sticky noted to kind of give you some main points of what the book really has to offer. On page 95, it gives a little bit of an explanation for the creation of the universe. It shows the atheist argument and the scientific argument, but then Craig gives the biblical backing and uses science to affirm what the Bible already says. Another important page would be 168. Is this one, and has a little bit of an outline. And it helps to explain why there is suffering in this world, or why God allows suffering. He really goes in depth into this topic and explains how our world couldn't work the way it does without allowing it to happen. Which I know sounds really awful, but it makes more sense once you read it and really dive in. And finally, on page 185, there are sources found of Jesus outside of the Bible, just to further prove his existence. My opinion, I would rate this book a 10 out of 10. Craig gives useful information and provides outlines for each argument at the end of every chapter. It's a joy to read, and I think it's a great start for somebody wanting to get into apologetics. Last but certainly not least, we have Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. I love C.S. Lewis. This is such a good book. This was written and published during World War II, and at the time C.S. Lewis revealed how society was viewing Christianity, and it's kind of scary, similar to how society is looking at it now, but maybe way worse. He addresses many controversial and important topics for Christians to understand. He explains the concept of faith and makes it known that it is important for Christians to strive to be Christ-like. Now I'm going to look up some key points in this book that I also have bookmarked. So first we have page 94, which is the start of chapter 5. And this is where C.S. Lewis addresses the topic of modesty. And I really like this little excerpt from it because it truly helps people understand why modesty is different depending on the individual. So he says, thus, while the rule of chastity is the same for all Christians at all times, the rule of propriety changes. A girl in the Pacific Islands wearing hardly any clothes and a Victorian lady completely covered in clothes might both be equally modest, proper, or decent according to the standards of their own societies. And both, for all we could tell by their dress, might be equally chaste or equally unchaste. I just think that's really interesting because oftentimes Christians like to look at other Christians and say, hey, they're not dressed modestly, but they're like, I was never convicted in a certain way to dress the same way that you do. And I think it's just interesting because it can depend on your culture, the people around you, or your personal convictions. Another page I have bookmarked is 136. It's kind of like the bottom to 137. It says it's addressing the topic of desires, like fleshly versus spiritual. And it says, if I can find in myself a desire which no experience in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that I was made for another world. So, as God's creation, we weren't really meant to live here in such an evil and wicked world. And that's why most people constantly search through life trying to find the answer. And that's why Christians, we believe that we have found the answer through Jesus Christ. Because he makes us feel fulfilled, he makes us feel whole, because our desires are not of this world. So in my opinion, I found this book very insightful. Lewis brings up many topics that hold relevancy today. I like the way he orders the chapters. It's very clear and concise. However, you can go in and read whatever chapter you want at any time. You don't have to specifically read them 1, 2, 3, 4, in order. I love this book and I think you will too. Anyway, that is all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment. If you have any books that you want me to read or check out, please let me know in the comments below. Other than that, have a great day and God bless.